bring it out.
This is Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy.
All right. What's up, fellas?
Nice hat. Got the bat hat on. Let's do it, man.
All right. Nice and cozy over there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right. First of all, let me say what a thrill this is. Thanks, Tom and Michael, for taking the time to allow me to throw a couple of lob a couple of softballs at you real quick. We're going to talk about Smallville, the complete series, coming to Blu-ray for the first time ever, October 19th.
Can't wait.
Okay, so Smallville was instrumental in ushering in the age of superheroes in pop culture. We didn't have a lot before that outside of comic books, right? A couple movies. The series itself ushered superheroes into a new generation of fans. What was it that you guys latched onto as kids that brought you into the superhero world? What were you fans of?
I was always a big Christopher Reeve fan. I loved Superman, but I was never a big superhero fan. I was a big horror movie fan. So for me, when I found out I got Lex Luthor, I love Gene Hackman, but I knew I couldn't play it like he played because he's great, but it was also sort of a caricature. And I knew if I play like that, I don't think it would have longevity. And I had to bring more of a grounded feel to make the show feel more grounded. And
you didn't play a young Gene Hackman?
I didn't play a young Gene Hackman. And I shaved my head. A lot of people still to this day ask me, did you actually shave your head? I'm like, yes, every day. But also, as you said, we're very excited about the Blu-ray coming out October 19th, the way people should see it, enhanced and really beautifully remastered. And we're excited about that. And for me, I remember being in a robe or something or wearing a cape and running the house naked, pretending I was Superman, jumping like 5 stairs and things.
Really?
Like badass. Yeah, oh yeah. I remember that stuff, but what was it for you?
I didn't grow up watching any superhero stuff. And that helped me, I think, playing Clark Kent, because I didn't know who Martian Manhunter was. I really didn't know who Lex Luthor was. I was aware of him, but I was learning as Clark was learning. So I think it was very helpful, to be honest. I think does that answer the question?
It's
in the neighborhood.
To me, I was like, I have a job, and I don't want to lose my job, and I want to make this as awesome as I can.
Yeah.
And I tried to keep that, and I still try to keep that.
And I think
I was trying to play a kid in high school, trying to figure out who he was.
And you were young. You were young when you started this, so you were behind the ears as well. So I think
or something.
I think it was easier to jump into that. Obviously, if you were older, it would be more difficult. But I think you just jumped into that.
Well, you were wiser, more experienced. I didn't know anything you had been in.
Neither did I.
But I knew that you knew more than I did, and I just tried to follow your lead.
Yeah, well.
So it was easier to have more experience cast around to lead you around the set?
God. Thank Jarrell for putting these people around me. In a sense, with John Schneider, Ned O'Toole, John Glover, Michael Rosenbaum, even Kristen and I trying to figure this stuff out. Thank you, Alan Miles, for creating this world for me to try to learn it. Absolutely.
Is it true, Tom, that up until recently it kind of bothered you a little bit when people referred to you as Superman instead of Clark Kent?
Well, I've been called worse.
Right.
I've called you worse.
You've called me worse.
Certainly.
I think that I think part of your question is as time has gone on, I'm like, okay, I have a very good friend of mine who I still will say, he'll call me Superman, and I'll be like, dude, I played Clark Kent. And he's like, would you shut the fuck, shut the fuck.
You were Superman still.
And he tells me, Tom, get over, you were Superman. And I was like, no, I didn't. But that's what kept Clark who he was for 10 years,
right?
In a sense. And maybe I'm softening a little bit, but I still never played Superman unless that moment. You know what I mean?
He even told that to Christopher Reeve, and Christopher Reeve says, "You're the best Superman ever." He goes, "Well, I'm not Superman."
I'm not Superman. I told him.
You should be. Christopher Reeve told him, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is really cool. Wow. Let me pull myself together. What about you, Michael? It sounds like you love playing him on the show, Lex Luthor, and you still talk about it a lot. What's your relationship to that character?
It was the first time someone actually gave me a shot to see if I had the acting chops. I was playing a lot of goofy characters that weren't necessarily grounded, and they were more comical. And this was the first time they said, hey, they gave me an opportunity to be a real actor and show my chops. And so I'm forever grateful for that. And, it was a complex character that I got to explore. And got to see some backstory and watch him evolve. And when I got to explode, it was another level of him. So, it was never really boring for me. I enjoyed playing the character.
Do you guys get like a jacket like the Five Timers Club, or is there hangouts for Clarks and Lexes, where when you go to DC parties, you guys got to gravitate together?
I always just feel like other actors have, surprisingly, as I've witnessed, they've just always respected the work that I put in, which means more than any of them will probably know. But when they say, I was interviewing on my podcast, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, which I interviewed Tom and many other people on the podcast. I was interviewing Jason Alexander, George Costanza from Seinfeld. He's like,
it was like a big deal.
And he was like, my wife and I, you were the best Lex Luthor, and you were. And I was like, hearing these things just resonates and makes me feel so much better about myself and what I did with the role.
Quite validating.
Okay, what do you think is going to surprise fans the most from this new version or this remastering?
Just the way they see it. It's getting to see the show how it should be seen. If you watch it on DVD or on TV, or you're not seeing the show the way I think it was meant to be seen, and to see it in such high def, I think does justice for the show.
We had really brilliant cinematographers that stayed with the show, that set the tone of the vision of like lensing the show, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I think that the Blu-ray, I'm hoping, because I can't wait to see it too, is just gonna make all that pop. Like I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I hope they give us like 10 copies each. Our friends are on this podcast or on this Zoom. I know that they're going to.
Warner Brothers, are you listening?
We're doing a lot of work here. We're really, really excited to see the Blu-ray, and we're going to have a little housewarming party with the Blu-ray. A viewing party.
Oh yeah. Put me on that list too.
Yeah.
Either for the Blu-ray or the viewing party.
You guys
like to go to the cons and hang out together. What is it like when you mentioned Jason Alexander, but what about when these common folks come up and tell you how much Clark has meant to you, your performance as Clark has meant to you, Tom?
I mean,
Michael.
It means more than you would think. Like, if having not gone and then going, like when somebody says, I used to watch, I grew up watching this show with my dad, and he passed away last year. But this, can you sign this? Because I mean, it's
mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing because you're just trying to get through the day, or you're trying to make your scene good, or blah, blah. Or like you say, you talk to these guys who were like, I was in the airport one time and this guy came up to me full fatigues and soldier going to Afghanistan. And he goes, hey, you that Superman guy? And going back to your other question. And in that moment I go, well, I mean, Smallville? Yeah. I didn't want to debate Clark Kent and
sure.
In that moment. And he goes, yeah, my sister sent me a box of DVDs, and I swear it was the last thing that we watched. But man, thank you. Like, we're totally into it now.
It got them through whatever they were going through. Yeah.
I get chills right now. Like, those guys are protecting us. And so it's very different than just doing like a press tour, where really it's a little more about like, who are you and how do we, get the dirt on you. When you're at the fan stuff, it's like, it's all love. It's like all happiness. Man, I wish everybody could feel it.
Yeah, we go to conventions. We do a thing called Smallville Nights, where I wear the ball cap. Tom put on the flannel. We'll read scenes. We'll interact with fans. They'll get to read scenes.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. We do it at a lot of cons, and the fans just eat it up. And they're like, they get to see us back together again. And just to see that mutual appreciation, us of them, them of us, is, you can't ask for anything better.
Are you guys going to be at San Diego this year?
Not in San Diego. We'll be at the LA Comic-Con.
Right on. This came out 5 years before we had the big avalanche of superhero pop culture. Smallville did. And now we've had almost every character you can think of has had their own movie, their own series. In the wake of all this superhero love, how would you think Smallville would change now? How would it differ these days?
I mean, it's such a, that's like talking to your therapist about like, what would I have done earlier in my life? It just would have been different. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It was perfect for all of us at that time.
There was a simplicity to it. It was family oriented. We had the dark family, like the Luthers, and we had the nice family, the Kents, and it was just a lot simpler. And although we got darker and darker as the series went on, and it had a little bit of something for everyone, it was a time. It was a time, and you know, I don't know if you could recreate that.
Right on, right on. Probably not.
At least for, in television and movies, it's a 30-year cycle, right? Because everybody who watched a movie when they were 5 becomes executives 30 years later, and they're 35, and now they're greenlighting projects, and it's usually remakes. So in 35, well, I guess now 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's already been 20 years. So
20 years. 20
have to
years
reorganize my stack of scripts. Yeah.
20 years since the start of Smallville. It's pretty amazing that people could still watch it on Hulu and get the Blu-rays. And
let me bring this plane in for landing, fellas. Thanks so much for your time. When I was a little kid, I used to have to wake up super early on Saturday morning to beat my brother to the couch to get the good spot so I could watch my favorite cartoons. But I'd have to get up even earlier than my parents and beat them to the kitchen so I could pour myself a bowl of big sugary Saturday morning cereal. So Tom and Michael, what was your favorite bowl of Saturday morning cereal, and what was your favorite cartoon?
Oh, I love Lucky Charms. I love Fruit Loops. I love Cookie Crisp. I like watching He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. I like watching old episodes of Star Trek. The Smurfs. How about you?
I do remember the Smurfs. I don't remember what I ate, to be honest. I remember the Smurfs, and then they tried the Snorks, which I was like, this is bad. But
Who were the other guys? The down underneath, the Doozer.
Those are the Snorks.
No, they were.
Oh yeah, the Doze. They built stuff, right?
Let the music play. Worries for a nut. Fraggle Rock.
Oh yeah, I wasn't in it. I was a G.I. Joe guy, but to be honest, I was a late night TV kid. I would wait till everyone went to bed, wake back, sneak out, and I would watch Miami Vice, Magnum PI. So I would watch at night.
Right.
I wasn't a Saturday morning. I was a Saturday night kid. Saturday
early morning. Thanks, fellas. That's just about all I got. Smallville, the complete series, coming to Blu-ray for the first time ever, October 19th. Love the podcast Inside of You, Michael, the band Sunspin. Tom's got Professionals coming out soon. Anything else for you real quick on the way out?
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be awesome. It's fun. It's me and Brendan Fraser having a great time in South Africa. It's a riot.
Yeah, watch the trailer for it. It looks really exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks badass. I'll be watching it.
Right on, guys. Do me a favor. Have a great day. We'll see you on the other side.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Right on.